Hi, welcome to Girls Talk. I'm your host, Harjeet Dhillon. I am excited to have Faryal here today. Not only did she do my makeup, which she does quite often for my shows, she's also working in insurance. And while I am going to touch upon the makeup later on in the show, I would like to focus on her insurance. First of all, hi Faryal.
Hey Harjeet, how are you?
Good, thanks for being on my show. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So could you tell our guests, our viewers, a bit about you?
So I'm an insurance broker. I've been in the industry for about 16 years, more, and then I do home and auto insurance and commercial insurance, and I'm also a freelance makeup artist. So that's me in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, you make it sound so compact, but your days are very, very busy.
They are.
And especially, you're going back and forth with insurance, and then you're also doing makeup as well, which is more of your passion, which is why I'm going to talk about it at the end. There's a lot about insurance that people want to learn.
Oh, yes.
So let's talk about, first of all, you. As a child, was this where you saw yourself headed?
No. It's funny. People say that you fall into insurance. You never choose insurance. Insurance chooses you. And that's what happens to almost everyone I've met in the industry, that they somehow ended up in insurance and they started off with different backgrounds, different degrees, different qualifications. I, as a child, wanted to become a doctor, to be honest. And then, sometimes they say God knows you better than you know yourself. Because when I grew older, I realized that you're around sick people all the time. You're around children that are sick. And you have to have a very strong heart to be able to handle all of that. I mean, I'm just so not that person, because I see something tragic on TV, I start crying. I read something sad and I start crying. So it was definitely not meant for me. In my final years of university, I got more interested in finance, and then I ended up getting a job with a bank, and been in the finance industry since. So
that's amazing. So you actually worked at a bank, and from then you were offered a job in insurance. Correct. Or some. Oh, so that's fascinating.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. And how are you finding finance? Is it satisfying to you? Does it fulfill your passion as well?
It does, actually, because being an insurance broker, you get to deal with different personalities, and I love that about my job, because I love interacting with people. I'm a people's person, so I'm not the person who would be happy just sitting behind desk pushing paper all day. It's just so not me. So I'm glad that this career chose me, because I love doing what I do. I love talking to people, helping them, and interacting with them.
Well, you definitely have that people personality.
Thank you.
Which is great. One of the things I was also curious about, and I deliberately left it out, when I introduced you as working with insurance. Because I am always confused about this, and I'm not sure if you guys are too, but is it an insurance broker, an insurance rep, a sales rep, or insurance agent? Like, what is the right term?
Okay, so we are all brokers. Okay. The general term is broker, but the brokers who sell insurance, they're called producers or account executives. And then the brokers who do service are called account managers. So that's the only segregation, but the general term is broker for everybody. So,
oh, okay. Yeah. So then all these other terms I've been hearing, I guess, were just in my head.
Yeah.
So now that we've cleared that up, let's talk about auto insurance before we go on to home insurance. What is the recommendation for auto insurance? When somebody comes to you for auto insurance, how long does it take to get a quote?
5 to 10 minutes, usually.
So you can give them a quote right there on the spot?
Yeah, well, no, actually, what I like to do is, because when we check their driving history, that takes up some time. So I get their information and I let them know that I'll call you back in about 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, so you work with people and then you provide them with a quote.
Correct.
And then you would send that out to different companies. Is that how you work?
Well, while we're quoting, we quote with all the different insurance companies. Our quoting engine would put all their information, and it would quote with 10 to 12 markets that we have at the same time. And so from that, I can choose the lowest price that suits them the best, and I'll tell them that price.
And is there, because I'm familiar with auto insurance to the point that I have it, but there are some factors which not all brokers will make you aware of that can help reduce your rates. Can you give us a list of those things that we can?
There's winter tires, which is very simple, and it's the most common one that most people have. For new drivers, I would recommend definitely get driver's education. That's my first question when you start off as a G2 driver. My first thing that I would tell them or ask them is, do you have a driver's training certificate? Because that could help you save close to $1,000 on your insurance. So that's very, very important. Also bundle everything together, because sometimes you come across situations where husband would have insurance with one company, wife is with another company, children are with a third company. You're missing out on so many discounts while you're doing that. So try to bundle everything together, because that's how you would avail all the possible discounts you could get.
Okay, yeah. Well that's really good to know. Just off the top of my head, I don't know if this is something that would impact insurance, but I know auto insurance doesn't just cover accidents; it covers like theft and other things too.
Absolutely, yeah.
So do they look at things as if there's an alarm or a steering lock?
Well, see, most of the newer vehicles already have. They come with an anti-theft device. I know way back, maybe 10 years ago, we used to ask that question, if you have an anti-theft device. Now, most of the newer models come with an anti-theft device of some sort, or lock, the automatic engine lock. So what happens is, and it's incorporated in the price. So our quoting system, once we plug in the VIN numbers, they know that the vehicles are equipped with that price, that device. So it's incorporated in your price already when we quote you.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting to know. One of the other things is that when I mean, like I said, I'm only familiar with auto insurance based on my shopping experience and getting it for myself. So one of the things when I get auto insurance is they, obviously they take into all factors and considerations. So if I haven't been driving for say 2 years and then I wanted to get it, I'm an older driver, because I know younger drivers are more of a disadvantage. Is there anything that you could tell me that would help me in that stage?
If you've had a gap of insurance
Yeah,
in the last 2 years?
Yeah, if you haven't been driving for 2 years,
but you were driving
older,
prior to
yeah,
that.
and you were driving prior to that.
There's usually nothing wrong with it. Say if you don't have a vehicle and you end up taking a break, or say if you were driving a company vehicle, so you did not end up getting your personal insurance. As long as the gap is not a rateable gaps that we call in insurance language, the rateable gap would be when you've been canceled by a company for some reason. Whether you had too many tickets, or you were canceled for non-payment, or you had too many accidents and the company canceled you, that's when it goes against you. If you choose not to drive for any other personal reasons, that would not go against you.
Okay, well, I'm glad that I cleared that up, because there's so many stories and rumors that go on. Oh, your premiums are going to go up.
No.
One question that's weighing heavily on my mind is, how do you decide if you were to get in an accident, whether you should pay for the damages yourself out of your own pocket, or you should go through insurance? Is there any advice you could give to our viewers on that?
Yes, and that's what the brokers do. We always tell our clients to call us first when the claim happens, so we could do the first claims counseling with the client. Usually when that happens, it happens in case when you are at fault. And so if the damage is not too large, try and settle it privately, because the minute you put it through insurance, you know that it's going to go against your record and your prices will go up. It also happens in a case where you've had your first at-fault loss already and this is your second at-fault loss. And after 2 at-fault losses, you become a high-risk driver. So you definitely want to try everything to prevent it from happening. And so when it does happen, try and settle it privately. And I mean, of course, there's always circumstances where the damage is too large, you can't afford it. And in that case, you would have to go to insurance.
And with insurance, they always have deductibles.
Mm-hmm.
When we're paying premiums, why is there a deductible, and is that deductible negotiable?
You have a choice in a deductible. So first of all, I would answer why there is a deductible. Your deductible is your responsibility in a claim. So when you are at fault, the deductible applies for at-fault claims and anything other than collision. So we call them comprehensive claims: fire, theft, vandalism, windshield, so on. Deductible is your responsibility of a claim. You have a choice. Usually the lowest deductible they offer these days is $500. You could have $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. It goes up in those increments. So when you're in a claim, you're telling the company basically that I'm taking responsibility of the first $500. That's your deductible. Your deductible could be $1,000. So what happens is when there is a claim, say if you have a $2,000 claim, your deductible is $500. So the first $500 would be your responsibility, and the rest will be paid by the insurance company if you qualify.
Is there a benefit to have a higher deductible?
There is, yes. The more responsibility you take, the lower your premium will be. So if you increase your deductible, your premium will be lower.
Wow, that's interesting. I would never have known that. I'm so glad that I'm asking you all these questions. So what is the benefit of contacting you directly rather than going straight to an insurance company?
That's a very good question. Like I said earlier, when there's a claim, we always do the claims counseling. We talk to the client and we tell them what, based on their deductible or based on their coverages, if it's feasible for them to report it to the company, right? So in case of a claim, if a claim is a minor fender bender in a parking lot, right, your deductible is $1,000 already. It's not worth reporting a $1,200 claim to an insurance company. You're responsible for the first $1,000 already. So I would tell my client to just pay it out of your pocket, right? Similarly, as I told you before, you were asking me if you would go to the company directly. So what happens is, if you call the company directly, you don't have an option not to report it. The minute you call them, you're reporting it. You cannot back out of it. So that's the benefit of having a broker, to talk to them first, and they could guide you whether to report it or not.
Oh, so that's interesting. So as a broker, you would be our point of contact on the insurance. So whenever we have a question, we can always consult with you.
Absolutely.
Well, I would hope that I could ask you more questions on this, but I will finish off talking about this when we return. Okay. You're watching Girls Talk with Harjeet Dhillon, and we'll be back right after this short break.
चॉकलेट चिप कुकी
अली
सिर्फ कुकी दूंगा, चॉकलेट चिप नहीं दूंगा। इसमें तो बहुत सारे चॉकलेट चिप हैं। एक सेकंड देता हूँ, अभी भी बहुत है।
अब अली बेचारा क्या करे, जब नए बिस्कॉनी चॉकलेट चिप कुकी में है बहुत ज्यादा चॉकलेट चिप्स, ऊपर भी चॉकलेट, अंदर भी चॉकलेट।
आपकी कुकी
बिस्कॉनी चॉकलेट चिप कुकीज बहुत 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 चॉकलेटी।
हर खुशी बिस्कॉनी।
मैं हूं जहांगीर खान, स्क्वाश कोर्ट का चैंपियन, लेकिन रियल एस्टेट इन्वेस्टमेंट का चैंपियन मोहम्मद कामरान हुसैन। मुझे उन पर यकीन है, आप भी करके देखिए।
जहांगीर खान और हजारों क्लाइंट्स का चहेता मोहम्मद कामरान हुसैन। रेजिडेंशियल प्रॉपर्टीज और इन्वेस्टमेंट्स दोनों के लिए ही सही मशवरा, सही फैसला। मकान जिसे आप अपना घर कहने में फख्र महसूस करेंगे। मोहम्मद कामरान हुसैन, 4163185264।
This is the world of internet. You have everything on your computer and mobile screen. If you wish to promote your business through internet, especially to perfect target market, then you have just one reliable name, NJ Marketing, offering various marketing solutions like social media marketing, telemarketing, email marketing, search engine optimization, graphic designing, web designing and development, and mobile application development. So call now at 647-824-1485 or email at njmarketing15@gmail.com or log on to njmarketing.ca.
$60, ma'am.
जब इश्क हद से बढ़ जाए तो तमाम ख्वाहिशें मिलकर सिर्फ एक ख्वाहिश बन जाती हैं। और बेचैन दिल हर पल हर लम्हा रोता है, दीदार को तरसता है।
हेलो
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम। जी मैम आपके उम्र के कागजात वगैरह तैयार हैं, प्लीज पेमेंट करके ले जाएं।
ओके थैंक यू।
और यही मोमिन का दिल अगर किसी की आंख में आंसू देखे तो सब कुछ भुलाकर सिर्फ अदा करता है। उम्र के बुलावे के लिए कुछ ज्यादा नहीं चाहिए, नेक नीयत और रहम दिल ही काफी है। बाकी हम पर छोड़ दें। अलबरका ट्रेवल निहायत मुनासिब उम्रा पैकेजेस के साथ 905-232-6566।
An exclusive multi-designer studio specialized in wedding planning services, bridal wear, casual party wear, jewelry, shoes, purses, dupattas, men's and kids' clothes. You name it, we have it. Some of the Pakistani designer labels we carry are Semi-K, Agha Noor, Sana Safinaz, Anas Abrar, Zainab Shutani, Wahaj Khan, Fatma Khan and many more. Parahan, sheer elegance. We believe in quality service and best price.
You can contact 9075 Derry Road West, Unit Number 1, Milton, Ontario.
रंग वाली भरम वाली न्यूज वाले व्यूज वाले भेल वाले मेल वाले कराची वाले खैबर वाले लाहौर वाले पिंडी वाले इन शॉट पूरे पाकिस्तान वाले चिली मिली की हमत वाले कैंडीलैंड चिली मिली।
Hi, welcome back to Girls Talk, and I'm with guest Faryal, who's discussing insurance with us. We didn't actually quite finish off when we were talking about auto insurance. So one of the things I wanted to ask you is if you're loyal with a company for insurance, will your premiums go down?
Yes. If you've been with a company for 3 or more years, a lot of companies offer you a loyalty discount. Also, if you've been with the same broker for 3+ years, the companies would take that into consideration, and that is also considered loyalty. They will also give you a discount for that.
So then it's also a benefit to stay.
Absolutely.
But then at the same time, is it worth switching companies to save money?
Well, it's your right as a consumer, but my advice is not to sacrifice good coverage and good service for price. Price should not be the only deciding factor when you're shopping for insurance, because, you know, as I say, you get what you paid for. So cheaper is not always better. Good price or a cheap price should not come at the cost of good coverage and good service.
But whenever somebody consults with you, you will explain to them the benefits of working with different companies and what they can offer you, so we're knowledgeable about that stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
So my final question on auto insurance right now is, how is the rate determined? Is there a base price, and then due to geographic location and age and driving experience, does it increase like that, or is there another way that it works?
Yes, it does actually. So what happens is every year, make and model for auto, they have a different price. For a 1997 Hyundai would not be the same price as a 1999 or 1997 Chevy, right? Every make and model is rated differently. After you've just chosen your vehicle, then the area where you're living, the postal code, that affects your premium. How experienced you are as a driver affects your premium. Your age affects your premium. There are several other factors that would go into your premium.
And some of these are outside of your control, but if you were going to contact a broker such as yourself, you would shop around for the best rate.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow, I think that's everything, but I'm sure that if something else comes up, we'll come back to that.
Sure.
Now I want to spend a little bit of time talking about home insurance because you offer that too. Do you offer commercial property insurance as well?
Do. It's very, very important because people don't realize when there is business interruptions, if you have a fire, you lose business, you lose your clientele, you lose your inventory. If you have insurance, your loss will be covered. So it's very important to have and to look into.
Okay, that's interesting, yeah, because home and commercial to me is different, but it's good to know that it's included in the same. So when there's I know there's certain laws in Ontario.
Sorry, let me correct you. Home insurance is not,
it's different. It's
absolutely,
different,
yes.
completely.
Property insurance, when you say commercial property, that's a separate policy altogether. It is not included with your home insurance.
Oh, okay. So
yes.
So you offer 3 types of insurance:
Correct.
Auto, property, and home
That's
insurance.
Right. Yes.
Okay, good to know. So then, talking about home insurance specifically, is it the law to have home insurance?
It's not a law. But when there is a third party involved, somebody else besides you has insurable interest in the property, that's when it's a must for you to have insurance. When you buy a house, you have a mortgage. The bank also has insurable interest in your property. So in order to protect their interest and yours as well, you should have insurance.
Which makes sense.
There are people who choose not to have insurance once they've paid off their mortgage. Which is not recommended. I would never tell anyone not to have insurance on the biggest investment in your life. But at that point, you have an option. If you have paid off your mortgage and you choose not to have insurance, you can choose not to have insurance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talking about tenant insurance, is it the law to have tenant insurance?
No. It's not a law. Again, it's beneficial to you to have insurance. You have that peace of mind. I'll tell you an example. I once had a client, they were getting auto insurance with me, and I recommended to them to get condo insurance. And they listened to me and they got a condo policy only to basically facilitate their auto policy because they knew when they bundle everything together, the price on the auto will be lower. But what ended up happening was they ended up going on vacation and they had a fire loss in their unit. The building management came and called the fire department and whatnot, but they were miles and miles away. They could not even make it back to the property to control the damage. Good thing they had listened to me and they had bought insurance just 2 days before this happened. So imagine coming back from your vacation having to deal with thousands of dollars of a fire claim. So yeah, lucky for them. So and you never know when something like this would happen because accidents happen, and that's why we get insurance.
That's so true. I'm totally on board with insurance. I mean, I have it. I would always suggest it too. But it's interesting that you would recommend it too, and I think that's why somebody should contact you.
Yeah.
And you know so much too.
Thank you.
So talking about condo insurance, this couple that you talked about, they were in a condo. So the condo has their own insurance too. So what is the difference between a condo and a freehold?
So the difference is, in a freehold townhouse, you own the structure, the outside structure, as well as everything inside. In the condo, you own everything from walls in. So you don't own the outside structure, that's owned by the condo corporation, but everything from the walls in is owned by you. And when you get a condo policy, we cover everything from the walls in.
Okay, so then you can get a policy for a home or a condo or freehold, and it would encompass the same kind of things.
Correct.
And how is a rate determined for home insurance? So if there was, are there any factors that could reduce your rate, such as having an alarm security system or other things?
Correct. So alarm is a big one. You should definitely opt to get a fire and burglar alarm. Also, those alarms need to be centrally monitored, so somewhere other than you gets a signal. So then they could call the fire department or they could call the police, whatever the case may be. Local alarms, if you're the only party getting notified, not as beneficial. So that's one thing. Also, as I mentioned earlier, bundle everything together. Bundle it with your car insurance. You will qualify for more discounts. Your age is a factor. You get a discount as a mature insured person. So yeah, those are a few things on the home insurance that you could do to reduce your premium. And also your experience counts. So one good thing is you should start building your insurance history as early as you can. I understand that most people don't think about a tenant policy because they think they don't need it. But if you move out of your parents' house for the first time and you rent an apartment, if you get a tenant policy, and most tenant policies are $30 to $40 a month, which is $1, a little more than $1 a day. But what happens is you're building your insurance history. So 2 years later, 3 years later, when you end up buying your house, you have all this insurance history, as opposed to someone who's never had insurance and has no insurance history. You're at a benefit, you're entitled to claims-free discount, as opposed to someone who has not had any prior insurance. They will not get that claims-free discount.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
I am taken aback by everything you know, and I really want to talk more about this, but I do want to spend a little time talking about your passion too.
Sure.
I don't want to make it all formal, but to close off on insurance, could you tell our viewers if they wanted to pursue a career in insurance, if there's any advice that you could offer them?
I would tell them to educate yourself. That's the most important thing. Just like any profession, whether you're a realtor or a lawyer, you need to know the ins and outs of the industry. You need to know the rules. So definitely get your license, and you have to study hard to get your license, and then keep on studying to maintain your license. And another thing I would say, as a person, you need to be the person who likes talking to people, interacting with people. If you are an introvert or you don't like dealing with people, maybe this profession is not for you. So.
Okay, that's great. No, so we all need insurance, and if you do need insurance, I would recommend that you contact Faryal, because she's not only very knowledgeable, she will make suggestions and recommendations that could potentially help us in the future when we don't even expect it. So let's go to makeup now, which is one of your passions, and I have been coming to you for my makeup for events and things quite often, because I like the way you do it, and I like you as a person too.
Thank you.
So do you have a vision when you see a face for their bone structure? Do you have a vision for makeup, or do you want them to come to you with their vision?
It happens both ways. Sometimes they have an idea in mind, they're going for a certain look, and they tell me that this is the look they want. Other times they say, okay, just do my makeup. And so in that case, I get my inspiration from the colors that they're wearing, right? Also depends on if it's a daytime function, we try to keep it very natural. If it's an evening function, we glam it up a little bit more. And when you said something about the features, yeah, we try to accentuate their best features. For example, for yourself, you have those big, beautiful eyes, so we try to accentuate those. If somebody has very high cheekbones, then we accentuate those. So, you know, looking at the person and their face, their structure, you know, we get the inspiration.
What about if somebody was to ask for a certain look and you thought, well, that kind of is not going to work with your bone structure, would you tell them that, or would you do it and let them decide?
I would tell them.
Okay.
I would tell them. See, the beauty with makeup is you can still incorporate their vision, but do it differently, right? You have so many options with makeup, right? They want to do cut crease. You could do half a cut crease. You could do, you know, something similar to that that would give them the same look and not actually do it, right? So with makeup, you just always have options. So, but I feel like as a makeup artist, it's my job to tell them if it wouldn't look good on them.
Yeah, no, I like that because I'm new to makeup. I'm new to like cutting my hair and stuff like that. So whenever I go somewhere, I expect the person who's working on me to know what they're doing. So I won't always have a vision, which is what I like about you, because you're always like, oh, is that what you're wearing? Okay, then, and you take over. And I'm very impressed with how you make me look and how you make me feel. So that's what I wanted to talk about. It's where you get your visions from. So if by chance somebody came to you and offered you a career in makeup full time, but it meant that you wouldn't be able to juggle insurance and makeup at the same time because it was too time consuming, would you take that on?
We will at the time decide. I love my job. I love insurance. I love what I do. Makeup is also a passion of mine. I don't know, but be a very hard decision. I don't want to make that choice right now.
You could, knowing the kind of woman you are, you'd probably end up juggling both.
Both, yes.
You know, doing one part-time, doing one full-time, and just like changing the pace on all of them. Because you're so the word is focus. When you're so passionate about something, you're so focused. Because you always tell me to be quiet when you're doing my makeup, and that's one of the things.
You were not supposed to disclose that. Okay. That's because you're a friend, and I know you. I would usually not tell my clients, "Hey, be quiet." I would just say, "Okay, you need to be still." So then, you know, they would get the cue.
No, but I think it's very important to know that when somebody is putting your makeup on, it's going to take them time, it's going to take you time, so you should be quiet and you should let them do their work. So I'm glad you tell me that.
Okay, great.
Yeah, don't tell anybody else that then if they don't want to know.
No.
But that's actually all we have time for. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Faryal, for being on the show.
My pleasure.
So this is Harjeet, and this was Girls Talk with my guest, Faryal, who I was happy to have. I hope you enjoy the show, and we'll see you next week.